TV, podcasts, out-of-home advertising, social media, and web games. These are all examples of platforms for sharing content that uses the power of digital storytelling. Digital storytelling, put simply, is the use of multimedia content such as video, audio, digital photography, or a combination of these things to convey a message through a story. Digital storytelling is used by everyday people, global brands, independent organisations, charities, and governmental services in order to connect audiences with a particular message relating to their work. In this video, we are going to go over the different applications of digital storytelling, why we use it, how to tell a story, and the basics of applying digital storytelling in your own work. Where have I seen digital storytelling? Everywhere, from the tearjerker ads by John Lewis, to the comedic Cadbury's Gorilla. Digital storytelling is used everywhere. Video content tends to be our first thought when we think of digital storytelling. However, we also see it in computer games, vlogs, social media filters, and digital photography. Any service, organisation, or individual can harness digital storytelling, whether it be for public healthcare, schools, community groups, or government. It works for everyone because it taps into one of the most human activities of all, which is creating narratives. Storytelling is integral to the human experience. As Will Storr says in The Science of Storytelling, there is simply no way to understand the human world without stories. Stories have helped shape religions, states, cultures, and we use them every day to create our own personal identities. Recent research tells us that language actually evolved from our need to share social information, and psychologist Professor John Haid says the brain is a story processor, not a logic processor. Therefore, using digital storytelling is a very effective and natural way to deliver key messages to our audiences. We are more likely to remember a car, for example, from an aspirational and epic story than by reading out the car model's specifications. Digital storytelling can be used to persuade your audience to buy something, to act, to change their mind, reinforce an idea, or to simply explain an important piece of information. We can achieve all of this by knowing our message and understanding the basics of a story. How to do it, in a nutshell. When you are starting to put your story together, you need to consider the structure and make sure you build a strong beginning, middle, and end section to your narrative. As stories are driven by change, they need to start with an inciting incident, something which compels your protagonist to action that will lead to change. This is the hook that helps pull your audience in. We are natural problem solvers, so we will watch or listen on if we want to find out more or feel we need to piece more information together. Your story then needs to progress with rising action to a climax in your story, followed by resolution. Most simply, a story structure starts with a problem, followed by a solution. A great example is the much-loved book and film Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Harry starts with a problem, living an unhappy life with his aunt and uncle, but experiences an inciting incident when he is paid a visit by a mysterious character called Hagrid.
You're a wizard, Harry.
The story then follows rising action as Harry is immersed in the wizarding world and learns that his parents were killed by Voldemort. The story reaches a climax when Harry fights and defeats Voldemort. The resolution in the story is the realization and assurance that love and friendship will always protect Harry from evil. I understand Harry Potter, you might say, but how do I apply this to my own work? Here's how we've used storytelling techniques to talk about legislation. Finn's Law, which is an amendment to the Animal Welfare Act, made it an offence to harm or abuse an animal in the line of duty. It's named after a police dog called Finn, who was almost killed protecting his handler PC Dave Wardell from a criminal with a knife. The video starts with PC Dave Wardell talking to camera.
What happened to Finn was, it was the worst night of my life. One night on the 5th of October 2016, we were on duty and we ended up chasing a robbery suspect through the streets. Finn bravely put himself in the way of that attack and saved my life.
This part of his interview is our inciting incident. The story has rising action as Dave talks about Finn's surgery and recovery.
Finn ended up having a 4 hours of surgery where they removed two sections of lung because he had stab wounds in his lungs.
And the story reaches the climax point when Dave reveals that Finn's law was signed as a result of the incident with his service dog. Our story then has resolution as Dave explains that thanks to this amendment in the Animal Welfare Act, service animals will have legal protection in the future if a similar attack were to happen again. The building blocks for telling your story are the setting. Where is your story happening? The characters. Who or what is driving the story? The event. What happens in your story? And perhaps, most importantly, the controlling idea. Why are you telling this story? What is its message and purpose? Remember, a story can exist in many forms, from a Beatles song
Hey Jude, don't make it bad.
to a cartoon on social media. It's also up to you to pick the style in which you want to tell your story, whether it be a comedy, tragedy, or story of overcoming the monster, real or metaphorical. Just think about what is the most appropriate way to convey your message to the audience. It needs to make sense for you or the organisation and also be relevant and interesting to the people you are trying to engage with. Getting started. If you are looking to use more digital storytelling as part of your communications, our video on what makes good social media content is a useful guide to watch through. The main points to remember are: clearly define your message, work out what you want to say, how you want the audience to feel, and what you want them to learn from your story. Be authentic to you or your organisation. Make sure you keep your target audience in mind when deciding on the story. Finally, pick a format that best serves your message. Is it a video, podcast, a series of photos? Work out what will work best for the story, your audience, and with the resources you have available. If you want to become a digital storyteller, it's important to keep telling stories, listening to others, and looking out for them. Step outside your comfort zone and try to understand different opinions and views to tease out engaging narratives. By continually sharing and seeking out stories, we become better at crafting them.